Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video here on the new Byte. Today and we're live in my studio here. Today I want to talk to you about two gadgets that you can use to enhance your mobile gaming experience and whether 10 euros investment is actually worth anything. Join me as we do hardware again, this time in a special case for mobile phones. In today's show, I'm gonna show you two ways how you can enhance your mobile gaming experience by having two accessibles that I'm gonna try out and value against each other, and maybe doing a little bit more. First off is this Gamester joystick grip F1. This one costs 10 euros on Amazon, and basically it's just a case with a better grip handling and a physical joystick which you can pin on your touchpad and which will actually function very well as a physical D-pad or joystick and then can be used in order to control games. It is specifically marketed here, as you can see on the backside of the game, with something like League of Legends, but there's also advertisement in it for other Tencent games, of course, like for example PUBG Mobile. The other device that I'm having here is from this Chinese manufacturer, and it just says extendable game grip. I don't know what the rest says, so if somebody wants to translate that for me, you're welcome to do so. And this game literally markets PUBG Mobile on it. It has two triggers, one on the left side, one on the right side, and if that's actually worth it, and the other one also we're gonna talk in this video. Let's first jump into the actual unboxing and see what these grips are actually like when holding them in your hands.
Alright, what do we have here? Well, we start with the Gamester F1, and as I said before, yeah, it actually promotes a little mobile game from Tencent. It looks actually quite cool. On the other side we have this extendable game grip, which I don't know much more about, and that one promotes, of course, PUBG up close. They also have a little tutorial at least how you can set up the things, but before we start with that, let's just unbox it first and see what's actually inside. Inside of the game, so we have this little plastic wrapping here, which, well, I guess the game grip could also work with that. And actually looking inside of it, actually has a very nice logo here, and an actual detachable arm here that you can swing back and forth. And yes, you can even pull it out quite large. On the sides, of course, there's an opening so you can put in your charging cable from the left or the right, depending on how you want it. Yeah, that's actually it. Now we're moving, of course, to the Chinese version with the two triggers, and that one actually comes with two plugs to the side so you can sort of close off what you don't need when using not a charging cable. But of course there's also a foot in the back that can let the thing stand, just like with the other grip that we already saw. So just putting it down, of course, we need to push down a little bit firmly, and then you can just basically use it as a lever. Of course there will always be the triggers on the side, which you can see here up close, and how will they work? Well, we actually see in the next part of this video. Now comparing the two things next to each other, they actually seem like they have the same base mold. Yes, a little difference in design of course, but the principle is the same idea, and especially how they're connected with each other, as we see later, is basically the same. So let's put in here into the Chinese game grip first. As you can see, it's not completely fitting. I have to push it up and it could just get out again, so it won't reach, of course, the screen. And with a simple flick, you could just push over the D-pad button on the left.
Alright, so now that we've seen the two cases, let's actually play some rounds of PUBG Mobile. While testing this hardware, I actually noticed that it's not really that much worth it. Just consider the Chinese version of the case, where you have just two triggers on the back side and two buttons being pushed on screen. It doesn't register always, and when it doesn't register always, it's basically useless, because you always want to have your shots land. There's no, oh, I want just 50% of my shots to land, so that's when it basically gets useless, and I guess that's just based on the fact that it's, well, cheap. It's not that well manufactured, sadly. On the other hand, the Gamester case also doesn't have that many use cases, as I've noticed. While it is cool to have a D-pad or joystick on screen which you can physically push around, most games actually are designed in a way where it's not that necessary. For example, in PUBG Mobile, you can put your cross anywhere you want, and if you aim around like with a mouse, you just put your finger somewhere where there's no button, and the whole area of the screen can be used to direct your aim. It's not that difficult, especially if you also add in the gyro sensor, which happens to be more minute by just swaying your phone left and right a little bit with the tilt function. And yes, even in racing games, there's only one game so far that I found out of a few that I tested where actually a D-pad can be used, and that is not even the main intended version of playing the game. It's more like well, you have the option, but we have rather invested our time to design a way of controlling the cars in this game that is actually more feasible without any extra hardware. So that got me thinking, how about if we combine it at least? Because these two shells share sort of the same mode, maybe we can just combine the two and have on the left side a D-pad or a joystick, and then on the right side we have at least one trigger, which works. And if it doesn't work, I can switch around at least to another function, because for example PUBG has two actually icons where you can shoot. Well, it turns out, well, it is possible. It's also not that great, because at least my iPhone 7 is just not big enough.
You can see this actually here in action. I have to basically push up the right side to the top so the trigger actually is on screen, whereas on the left side I have to push it down so the D-pad is halfway on screen. And even if I want to use the triggers, it's not connecting properly, so this is a whole complete mess. But actually, if I jump into a round right now, let's see how well we're doing in there. And let me tell you, yeah, it sort of works if you just jump on in, but as soon as you're moving around, you see like, I actually can't run that properly, so you always have to push the hot button, of course, for running, and then something like this happens where you're just like being shot. And you're not fully ready for it, and it's like, okay, should I go? Should I like just wait? Should I maybe turn around? I don't know, I have nothing left here. So, it's just a complete mess. And I actually, luckily, just said, okay, let's just walk away and try to find a way to actually run. So there's a special button, of course, on screen that you can use to run in case you cannot like just pull the D-pad all the way up. And then later on, once I finally found a weapon, I finally also made some kills happen. So here's the first confrontation actually, and I was positioning myself, and with the motion controls I could just fine-tune my aiming. This is like I'm hitting it, I'm tapping the trigger, I want to continue but I don't actually hit it. And then I just like said whatever and push of course the screen in. So it works that way. In this situation, it's the same thing actually. It's just like the same proof again. It doesn't work. I'm like trying to tap it, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And for the real hectic situations, I need, of course, reliability. And that's just not given with that trigger set. The best and kind of worst example I can actually see here is in the final of the round. It's me versus another player, and my phone just starts lagging like hell. And then when I actually sit down and think, okay, let's just not rely on that trigger function, I actually pushed in the buttons on my screen, of course. It just didn't work, it just completely froze. Just look at this mess. I was getting in some shots, but I was just shut down completely. And it took like a whole while for actually the game to sort of crop up with it. So yeah guys, I think it's not worth it.
So all in all, what did we learn today? We learned that it's just not worth it to invest these 10 euros into a physical case. What does work though is actually that the grip around your phone, it just feels nice, especially for large hands like mine, where I have my phone in the hand. I couldn't make it use like that, but if I had like two grips on the sides which help me to curve my hands around it, that feels actually nice. The buttons though, I can just hit them on screen very easily. It's not that hectic and not that difficult to just hit the right buttons. You could argument, of course, for the trigger version that it is easier to just flip your fingers and have a faster reaction time than your enemy, but if it doesn't constantly works, well, there's no use to it. Alright guys, and that's it today from the new Byte here. My name is Faustus. Hope you liked this little review video of this extra hardware for your mobile phones. I personally will still use one of the two cases just because it's nicer and more ergonomic to have them in your hands while playing mobile games, but I will probably not use the D-pad that's attached to it. I hope you liked it guys. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to not miss any new videos. That would help us immensely. If you just want to grow to a larger audience or want to talk more about what we do, especially with also Emily and Dan doing their things here or on our website, thenewbyte.com. We're also of course on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram if you want to follow us there. And we're also on Discord if you want to join our Discord channel. It's under thenewbyte.com/Discord. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like it and I see you soon again. Bye bye.